Hey everyone, Kyle Lewis here from the Worship Keyboard Tutorial YouTube channel, giving you tips and tricks to help you with your worship keyboard ministry. In this video, we're going to look at some fills for the song Build My Life. And even though we're using just the one song, Build My Life, these are universal concepts that you could use with any other song that you're doing in any other style. So, if you're ready, let's get started. The verses for Build My Life are a great place to add some fills because you have several beats of blank space between each vocal phrase. And it's also a great place to connect the 4 chord going back to the 1 chord. Now, if you download the free PDF by clicking the link below, you'll get not only the examples that I'm playing here in this lesson, but also different keys and some expanded examples. So let's look at what we have here. We're in the key of G. And we're going from the 1 chord to that 4 chord, and then the 4 chord going back to the 1 chord. So it's that 4 chord, in this case C, going back to G that we have our fill examples. So let me play the first one for you. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. So what I'm doing there is called arpeggiation. Arpeggiation is just a fancy way of saying I'm breaking up the notes of the chord. So instead of playing a solid chord like this, I am breaking up each of those notes. Now also what I'm doing is I'm trying to bridge the gap, like we mentioned earlier, between the 4 chord going back to the 1 chord. So from this C chord going back to the G chord. Now I'm ending on that G there, which is also a note of the G chord, so I'm going to play my G chord here. So it helps to bridge the gap between those two chord structures. The next example is a descending scale. I'm going to use the notes of the G scale. So from that C chord, I'm going to just descend down the scale. So it would be like this. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Okay? So number 3 is combining arpeggiated notes with scale notes. So I've got my scale, G scale, which has that F sharp in there, plus I'm adding the arpeggiated notes that we did before, but I have a little bit different rhythm, so it's going to sound like this. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Notice when I get to that last note, I skip C and jump over to B. Now the reason for that is if I keep in the scale on that C, it just doesn't sound good. So I could stay on the D, or I could do what I have written here, which is skipping C and jumping over to B, which is a part of that G chord. So I've got that B note all by itself and then going back to the G. So number 4 is combining scale notes with a fixed note. Now I talked a little bit more about fixed notes in an earlier video, yes I will. So I'll put a link to that so you can see that video at the end. But a fixed note is basically that constant tone that plays while I'm doing my moving notes. So I'm doing my moving notes in my G scale like I did in the previous example. But I'm adding that constant tone. Just adds a little bit more intensity to that sound. So here's number 4. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. And I'm ending on that open chord here with the G and the D, kind of following suit from that constant tone. And then on beat 2 going back to the regular chord. So these are examples that you can play, and obviously there's more parts to the verses, so you can mix and match each one. You can play one for one, one for another, go back and play another one that you did, and also hopefully you can experiment and discover your own fills for this song. Well, that's all that we have for this video. Thanks for checking it out. And as I mentioned in the beginning, these are some universal concepts that you can use in other songs or other styles. Before you sign off, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and hit the little notification bell so that you can be aware of future videos. And if you like it, give us a like. And before you sign off, make sure that you check out some of these other videos here, and especially Yes I Will, because we cover some of the concepts like fixed tones, those fixed notes, those constant tones that we used in this video here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.